Good day. This is Dr. Ron McFarland. I'm your course instructor, and I wanted to go over a quick overview on the course. If you're not familiar with Desire to Learn, which is our learning management system, DTL, and it's also called Brightspace as well. This is looking at our the course website right now, our LMS. And of course, we got to click and grab our course. We're ITech 506, section 953. And I'll open that up. A bit about me as this is loading up. I have a doctorate in computer science and a postdoc and a DSc, Doctor of Science in cybersecurity, as well as a postdoc from the University of Maryland. I also work full-time with the Department of Defense, depending on who's either swearing at me or what. I'm either considered a cybersecurity engineer or a research scientist. And I think that might have to deal with how they might be farming me out. So I get to work on a lot of different security projects, forensics as well. It's kind of blended together for me. And that gives you some background. I do work full-time at DoD. So if you're going to contact me, great, no worries. I may be on the phone, leave a message. Text me is better. Send me an email. It's probably best because then I can look at it and respond back with some substantive comments and that sort of thing. Also, if we need to set up a Zoom one-on-one with each other, let me know as well. So this is our course home shell, if you will, cyber forensics. I'll add in some information about cybersecurity as well. Cyber forensics, it's broadening, as we all know all too well from the news media. And usually if you hear something in the news media, it's a bit late. For instance, the SolarWinds attack was mentioned in December, but it really started in March, right around when the pandemic started. So it's kind of been a crazy world tracking down a bunch of those items and seeing what those are, what impact it has. Cyber forensics is part of the after effects of a cyber attack. In other words, once an agency like Department of Homeland Security or pick an agency, pick a three-letter agency, once they report an incident and they've gathered all the log files, there's the forensic side of cybersecurity that occurs. This course touches, it actually goes in pretty well on cybersecurity as well as forensics. But I tell you, if this is going to be your major field, you'll probably have another 5 or 8 courses in forensics, whether it's training courses or even college courses. So this is our course. I do have writing expectations. Oh my gosh, writing. Because a lot of times in forensics, I've served as an expert witness multiple times. If you're dealing with that capacity, or if you're doing the digital forensics, there's a big chunk of writing. And when I worked for IBM, a lot of our work was done in APA. That way, when we sent our documentation over to Rochester, which was the research center for IBM at the time, they could pull things together using APA and determine if they have a new product, a new vertical, a new market that they can address. And they imagine IBM with multiple 50, 70 projects running at a time, sometimes even more. If they get all that intelligence in, APA can help guide them. So I do expect that in the course. You will see it in professional life, absolutely, whether it's APA, MLA, or Boston. You'll see one of the writing formats. I'm scrolling through. With this course, I put a note here. We're using Mindtap. Now, Cengage is the publishing company. Mindtap is basically their technology for virtualization of labs. So Cengage, we're using the course content, PDF files. And they have some videos out there which are really good. And I like Cengage because they update things quite frequently. And the lab portion. So there's 2 components. The LMS, Brightspace, and then our lab, the content. So keep that in mind. If you scroll down here, get yourself used to it in terms of scrolling down, get yourself used to the concept of having 2 portions. We'll actually have links in the course content that branch out, so you don't have to remember any additional logins and that sort of thing. You don't just One source, that's it. This is right here, it says read me first. This is kind of a highlight overview. We start today, January 19th, and go all the way through May 7th. First week is a tad bit shorter. Last week's even a little shorter. We have, during each week, I want to point out, just looking at weeks 1 and 2. In 1, there's a pre-assessment quiz. So you'll take that. You'll also look through the lab prerequisites as well. Both of those are 50 points. There's some reading before lab 1. I'll show you where everything is in this video. And there's a quiz. Those items are all in Mindtap. Anything that's in LMS, the only thing we have is the week-to-week discussions. Okay. And what I'm looking for, there's a lot of, just like if we were in class together, there's a lot of richness in conversation. So I really want some good conversations on, oops, somebody's tapping me. So good conversations in our discussions. We have, so you'll look at the discussion question, answer everything in it, and then do 2 additional follow-ups. So 3 times per week, you're going to be tapping into the discussions. Please, please don't save it till the end of the week. I don't want to see, because then nobody can respond to your post. Post early in the week, then later on, you'll have 2 additional opportunities where you comment, add some more information to other people's posts. Week 2, we have a quiz and also discussion. So every week you'll see a discussion. And I noted in each one of this discussion, it's in D2L or Bright Space. Everything else comes from Mindtap. So that's there. I'm scrolling down the main page. There's a lot of other information you should read through. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Everyone thinks, you know, as a writer as well, I think, oh yeah, I communicated that clearly, but you know, not so. Let's just make sure if something's a little fuzzy, you know, tap me on the shoulder, send me a text, send me an email, what have you, and let me know. We'll explain it. I may add more in terms of announcements in the course to clarify things. Well, where do I get everything? If you look over on the right-hand side, the calendar due dates are all listed here. But I want to, as you go down, you see all the due dates, on and on. If you go to content, right here, let it load up. I don't know why it's taking so slow. I get the pretty fast internet here. We see these modules over to the left-hand side. Getting started with the course, you know, that'll walk you through module 1, understanding. We're going to basically, it's going to be 1 module per week. We've got the getting started just so you can get familiar with the environment. Now, if I click on this pre-course assessment, everything down here, with the exception of week 1 discussion. Now, look at the icon. See, it has a little arrow. I think the arrow should go the other way, but I didn't design this. That means it goes to an external resource. Week 1 discussions, that's in the LMS right here. Same thing with week 2. We've got these external items, module 2, and then the week 2 discussion. So let me just click on, let me grab module 1. And that's sort of midpoint in week 1. And you can see on my screen, it should open up. Now, on the bottom, it says Cengage.com. That's the publisher. And you'll see over to, now I get this class average. You won't get this. You may get your own individual average. Nobody's done anything. So we start off with 100%. Yeah. Over on the left-hand side, you can see the pre-assessment quiz. It opens up the whole module, by the way, any of those links. So you have the pre-assessment quiz. Look at the orange dot, means it's counted towards the grade. So when you take that, you'll see your grade here, then it moves it over to desire to learn. Okay. Anything with the orange dot, that moves it into the grade book. That lab virtual machine prereq, walk through that to make sure you understand how the labs are. But here over in the module 1, all the modules are set up the same. Module 1, if I click the arrow, you see a preview, kind of gives you an overview of what's going to be happening. And the reading, basically PDF. And there are some videos kind of scattered about. That's what I like about this product. They do keep it pretty up to date. More on the virtual machine labs, right here, that lab 1.1. And if I click on that, I will in a second. That'll take you to the lab itself. And the study, apply is usually, here's more reading. The apply is generally the quizzes. So I would say 85% of the content is here. The other 15% is in our discussion questions. So this, you'll get real familiar with this if you haven't used this before. Let me click on this lab right here so you can see what's going on. And it loads up actually, this, it tells you digital forensics, and I don't know if this one's not really a lab. Anyway, it'll load this shell up on your lab activities. And if it is a lab environment, it'll show you that it's spinning up a virtual machine or maybe even two. And that way you can work with the tools based on the assignment. So everything's kind of at your fingertips. I'll hit start assignment now. And down below, you see all these URLs. What happens, honestly, behind the scenes? It looks like, yeah. So this will really tells you what happens behind the scenes. It provisions other resources behind the scenes. So this is a getting started. It talks about the terms and conditions. So you'll click on that, read and accepted, right? And then you only do that once. But this is the actual lab. You'll see a lot, and by the way, before this, read how to use the lab, that way you can see it. I do have some other items that I could provision right now. I have PLAB Win 10, so it's a practice lab Windows 10 machine. It looks like it's spinning up. I have practice lab DEFT01, so you look through that on the lab. It's right now it's off. And then other resources. And you can see it's establishing connections. Whoa, and there you go. So over on the left-hand side are the instructions. Right-hand side is the virtual machine. And quite honestly, I'm on a notebook right here. I would use a screen that is a little larger if you can. But you can do this on a notebook. Somebody else's call. I hear all these beeping. So anyway, I wanted to walk you through this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and exit out up on the top, just do an X, get out of the environment. Takes me again back to Cengage. I'll go ahead and get back to our class itself. So I think I'm taking the long route. Anyway, I did take the long route. Anyway, bright space, go up on top. We're 953. And all the course information, again, is on the left-hand side. Read that through. On the right-hand side, due dates show up. The content up on top will take you to the week-by-week, module-by-module breakdown. And again, remember, in each module, 85% of the links go to Mindtap. One link goes to our discussion thread. So look through the discussion thread. Post your response early. That gives other folks an opportunity to respond to what you've posted. And you also, and let's say if you posted your answer on Monday, maybe go back on Wednesday or Saturday and look to pick up another response. But I'm going to really encourage you to look through all the discussion postings and read them. Actually, read them. There's a lot of richness. I know it's typing and stuff like that, but there's a lot of richness in the conversations. And quite honestly, because of the discussions, I get to learn new things every single week, especially in a course like this. So I hope that gives you a good introduction to the course. And so you can see me too, I guess. I don't know if that's good or bad. Might have me blocked out by now. Anyway, I want you to have fun with this course. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with cybersecurity, digital forensics, things like blockchain, artificial intelligence. We're going to see a whole wash of new things in cybersecurity and digital forensics right in the middle of it. So a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to sign off. I'll post this, and good to meet you.